Hello, everyone. Thank you again for giving me an opportunity to present today. I will be talking about my recent work on online agri platforms, that is, joint work with my PhD advisors, Retsef Levy and Karen Zhang from MIT, and our collaborator, Manoj Rajan from REMS. Let me start by describing to you what makes agricultural supply chains in developing countries unique. In the upstream of the supply chain, what you find is existence of millions of smallholder farmers that continue to play a very significant role in the economies of these countries. For instance, the average landholding size is only 2.5 acres in India compared to that of 444 acres in USA. And 52% of the total workforce is currently employed in agriculture. However, the very next node in this supply chain is highly consolidated. A small set of powerful traders or middlemen who are asymmetrically stronger vis-a-vis these farmers dominate the traditional markets, which suffer from geographical isolation and very low transparency. Now, all of these characteristics lead to a series of challenges. Farmers suffer from extreme poverty and very low productivity. In order to tackle these challenges, one initiative that has gained a lot of investment and focus from public organizations and governments across the world is that of online agri platforms. Now, these platforms have been launched in many developing countries in order to connect geographically isolated markets and increase transparency for smallholder farmers. However, despite significant investments, qualitative evidence suggests mixed results. The talk that I will present today is in collaboration with one of the largest online agri platforms in the developing world called the Unified Market Platform that is being run by the state government of Karnataka in India. We start by conducting a rigorous empirical impact assessment of this large scale online agri platform, and we show that its impact is indeed variable in nature. For some commodities, UMP has had a statistically significant and positive impact on prices. But for other commodities, we do not find any impact at all. Using insights from field visits and detailed platform data, we are able to identify and shed light on important operational and supply chain characteristics that may help us in explaining these variable impacts. Now, one aspect that comes out from this analysis is that of the challenge of limited competition among many agri markets with very few traders. And this motivates our focus on auction update. Given the unique operational characteristics in our setting, we do a series of semi structured interviews with professional traders in the field to understand their bidding behavior. The insights from these field interviews allow us to analyze a behavioral auction model that systematically characterizes when this new auction design is likely to benefit farmers. Finally, working closely with the UMP, we implemented this new auction design on the platform for a major lentil market in February 2019. Since its launch, commodities for almost 10,000 smallholder farmers worth 6 million US dollars have already been traded, and our empirical analysis suggests significant profit gains. Finally, to close the loop, we use the data generated from the field implementation to validate the behavioral auction model, ultimately giving further confidence to the government to expand this initiative on a larger scale in the coming years. Let me start by describing to you how UMP was exactly implemented on the ground in Karnataka. The map that you see here is that of the southern state of Karnataka, and each dot here represents a regulated agricultural market. Now, starting in 2014, these regulated markets were integrated through Unified Market Platform. Many important regulated commodities, which include lentil cereals, were traded through UMP, and almost 7 million farmers in the state were affected by this policy change. In order to understand how UMP was implemented operationally on the ground, we made a series of field visits with a variety of stakeholders in order to understand their perspective about it. And based on the interviews and observations, let me describe to you how UMP was implemented in practice. Farmers do some basic processing before bringing their produce to the markets. Now, in order to allow digital integration of these markets, the first step that the government took was got in third party services to assess quality parameters of different lots and publish this online. This was done in order to assist farmers or traders who are not able to inspect the lots physically to still bid on them. In the market, there are multiple commission agents, and farmers are free to decide which commission agent they want to go to display their lots. What I would like to point out from this picture is the smallholder nature of the farmers, who differ substantially in terms of quality attributes. So each lot here belongs to a unique farmer, and because of the significant heterogeneity in quality, auctions are conducted at the lot level. Traders walk in the market with these paper slips and note down their bids for each lot. Once they have looked at all the lots, they come to computer rooms or their own laptops and submit all of these bids together at once. Finally, winners under UMP are also declared in a very transparent manner at 2:30 p.m. In particular, there is a first price seal bid auction for each lot, and whoever submits the highest bid for each lot is declared the winner. Finally, traders participate in post auction processes, which involves grading the produce and finally transporting it to retail markets. The two key hypothesized benefits from UMP's implementation are transparent price discovery and increased competition. I would just like to point out here that in the past, each red dot or regulated market required traders to get independent licenses, while under UMP, a single license is sufficient to participate in any of the markets. In order to answer whether UMP has benefited farmers or not, we collected both public and proprietary data and did a difference in differences analysis for six major commodities that are traded on the platform. The bar chart that you see here shows the estimated impact from our diff and diff analysis, and the top three commodities, which are paddy, groundnut, and maize, see a statistically significant and positive impact. This is substantial because it translates to almost 80 to 300% profit improvement for 2 million farmers. Unfortunately, we also find that there is no impact for another set of important commodities. These results continue to hold in a variety of important robustness tests. And this differential impact motivates us to understand how we can update UMP's auction to increase farmers' revenue further. Let me just point out that the current process is a first price seal bid auction format, where everyone submits seal bids and whoever submits the highest bid is declared the winner. There are multiple other common auction formats that have been used in different settings but are unfortunately unfeasible in terms of operational implementation for us. For instance, for ascending descending bid auctions, it is very hard for traders who are involved in many post auction processes to constantly monitor hundreds of lots because of the smallholder nature of individual farmers who are coming to the markets. Similarly, when we proposed second price seal bid auctions, one of the biggest concerns of our collaborator was how do we explain to the farmers why they're getting the second highest bid but not the highest bid. One particular auction format which is promising is that of two-stage auctions that is commonly used in auctioning costly assets. The rules of the auction are as follows. In round one, everyone submits seal bids. Top K bidders qualify, they're informed of the topmost bid, and they are given an opportunity to bid again in the second round. They can only increase their bids, and whoever submits the highest bid in the second round is then declared the winner. In terms of operational feasibility, two-stage auction formats require minimum technical updates, and it is also very easy to train traders and farmers. In order to understand how this new two-stage auction might affect traders' bidding behavior, we identified four different theories from the literature, and we tested these theories in the field by conducting interviews with professional traders. Based on these interviews, we find evidence for two important theories. The first theory is that of anticipated regret, which suggests that traders anticipate feeling regret from non qualification in the first round, and that motivates them to bid more aggressively. The second theory for which we find evidence is that of anchoring. After we disclose the topmost bid in the first round, we find that traders' bids in the second round are strongly anchored towards these disclosed topmost bids. In order to answer whether two-stage auction formats that accounts for these behavioral factors can still benefit farmers or not, we develop a parsimonious model and account for both regret and anchoring behavior. And we are able to show that two-stage auction will outperform first price seal bid auctions, which is the current process, only when anticipated regret is sufficiently strong. This result can be explained by the following mechanism. So, anchoring and anticipated regret have opposite effects. While anticipated regret motivates traders to bid higher in the first round, anchoring motivates them to bid lower. This is because with the presence of anchoring in the second stage, traders do not need to be the topmost bidder in the first stage, as in the first price seal bid auction. We conjecture that commodities whose economic value is high and or whose supply is constrained are likely to be the ones for which anticipated regret is higher, and as a result two-stage auctions are likely to benefit farmers. Finally, we work with the government to launch the implementation. This involved technical updates to the platform as well as training with the farmers and the traders. The new auction was launched on February 22nd in one of the major markets of lentil. And since its launch, commodities worth 6 million US dollars for almost 10,000 farmers have already been traded. We find a statistically significant and positive increase of almost about 4.6% in prices using a difference in differences technique. In addition, we also find that the effect is increasing with time. Finally, we test the two key behavioral features that were assumed in our model, which is regret and anchoring. The first hypothesis is related to anticipated regret, and in order to test it, we do a differential DID analysis and find that traders who exhibit higher regret increase their bids by 72% more in the second round. Note that the higher regret traders characterization are based on our field interviews. The second assumption that was made in our model is anchoring in the second round. And the graph that you see here is the plot of the histogram of bid increments in the second round across all the lots. In line with our hypothesis, we find a strong evidence of anchoring where the average bid increment is only 0.16%. To conclude or summarize, we work closely with the unified market platform to empirically identify its impact on farmer welfare and highlight that its impact is indeed variable in nature and affected by important operational and supply chain characteristics. Next, we do a series of semi-structured field interviews with professional traders to identify a behavioral auction model and an auction design that is likely to benefit farmers. And finally, we work with the government to launch this two-stage auction design, whose implementation has already benefited farmers significantly. Thank you.